When developing new products, an important aspect or important step is to make sure you understand the input variables into your system. What does that mean? A lot of times, particularly if it's a vendor supplied item, we talk about capability and we may ask that vendor, are you capable of meeting these specs or these tolerances that we have? And oftentimes the vendor will just so-called check the box and say, of course we are, yeah, we can do that. But what isn't talked about is how well can you do that and what's the cost going to be to do that? And that whole thing really answers the question that ultimately we're trying to ask and understand. But if you ask about capability too directly, it may be limited, it may be early stages. So how do you make estimates of that and know how it's going to fit with your overall system and your overall design capability? So we have to ask intelligent questions. If we ask, what's your standard deviation, they're just internal, external, they're not going to be able to answer that question. That's a really difficult question to ask. If you ask directly about process capability or try and measure it, it may be on pre-production tooling, maybe not in the right system yet, or maybe just a very limited quantity of parts. So what are the smart questions you can ask there? My opinion, one of the best ones to ask is, what's the typical min and max you're going to get when you make these parts? And people can much more easily relate to that question and answer it. And usually that answer is a plus or minus, or the window of 90–95% of your product, and you can back calculate a standard deviation from that. Or you can use those with some other tools in the Monte Carlo world to understand it and see how it impacts your system. But beyond just that capability, how is that capability determined? So the last thing I like to think about in understanding your inputs is, where does that information come from? What's the source? Is this from an actual report or a 300-part run? Or is it internal, external? Is it supplier based? Is it just a comparison to other similar products, or very similar products with a very common feature? And then not only just where did the data come from, but who's the key person? Who collected it? Who can we talk to if we want to learn more? And so this gives you kind of a realm of possibilities when you look at your input capabilities and how that may impact your design, your functionality, and ultimately that customer user experience. If you'd like some help going through this process, making your design everything you ever wanted it to be, give us a call here at Prairie Solutions. We'd love to help you out.